Hello everybody and welcome back to another show, where today I'll be showcasing a deck that was so good that Konami personally had to run it into the ground. Or at least, so they think. Today I'll be showing off a pile deck that I constructed using cards from the Unchained archetype, the Snake Eyes archetype, and finally the Sky Striker archetype. If you're only interested in seeing the duels, you'll find the timestamps below. Feel free to skip to them. And at the very end of this video, I'll be showing a current version of this deck that is actually allowed to be used in standard play. But for now, I'm going to just briefly discuss how this deck came to be and how the hits kind of affected it. So, Unchained Sky Striker, if I've so lovely named it, was the deck that I built using no guides online whatsoever, to essentially answer my own curiosity on essentially trying to build a certain end board. Because if you've seen some of my other videos, you may know that I'm quite a fan of the Fiend archetype, and I've been playing more and more of the Unchained cards recently. And I wanted to build a board where I had Unchained Soul of Rage, Sky Striker Widow Anchor, and a fully powered 3200 Appaloosa on the field. And so I got to building, and after trying many different engines, I kind of came to the conclusion that Snake Eye would be the best one to pair with it. No surprise, it's very good. The one card that made the whole thing doable, though, was actually Curious, the Light Sworn Dominion. Because for my combo to work, as you'll see later on, I need both of the Unchained Souls to be in the graveyard. Or I at least need one of the trap cards to be set on the field. Which the second duel I'll be showing actually doesn't use Dominion, because I am able to set a trap card. So you get to kind of see different ways that the full combo can work. But yeah, I'm glad to say that my madness let through after like a few weeks of playtesting. And yeah, this is a deck that I'm very excited to show off. Once again, at the very end of the video, I'll be showing an alternative with the current version of the deck that is allowed in standard play. But hey, for now, let's get on into the duels. And into our first duel, we are up against a Kashtira deck. This was pre-ban list of October during the Duelist Cup. We are going to start off with both our Opening the Spirit Gates and our Diabell Star, which will allow us to go into the full combo. So we will play Opening the Spirit Gates to bring out Dark Beckoning Beast, to bring Chaos Beckoning Beast onto the field, and then linking them both off into Unchained Soul, Spirit of Yama. I'm going to let the duel kind of go out in its own pace, just to kind of, you know, thoroughly show off the combo itself. We're going to add Shavara into our hand, and then use Opening the Spirit Gates to immediately send it into the graveyard, bringing back Chaos Summoning Beast and setting a Unchained Trap card onto the field. Then linking away our Chaos Summoning Beast, we're going to bring out Link Karibo, bringing out 2 of our 3 pieces needed, before banishing Chaos Summoning Beast to add Falling Paradise to the hand, placing it onto the field, then immediately removing it to bring out Diabell Star, allowing us to set Sinful Spoils. And now that we have our 3 different Dark-type archetypes onto the field, we can then link 3 of them off into Curious, allowing us to send our other Unchained monster to the graveyard. Plus, you know, 3 extra cards, but it is what it is. Then, after destroying our trap card to bring our other Unchained monster onto the field, we can then proc Yama's graveyard effect plus its trap card spell effect. The trap card spell effect? Its graveyard effect to bring 2 monsters onto the field, linking them off into our Sky Striker cards. Camellia sending Anchor to the graveyard before we then go into our other Sky Striker, to then add said Sky Striker spell card back to our hand. A lot of pieces go into this deck, I know. We then use Sinful Spoils to send Opening the Spirit Gates into the graveyard, which at this point I believe does technically take us up to 4 spell cards in our grave. For people that aren't aware, with Sky Striker cards, a lot of their effects proc when you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard. So thanks to this combo, we've gotten Fallen Paradise, Open the Spirit Gates, and Sinful Spoils would normally be the 3 that go in there, but I believe when Dominion procced, he sent one of the other Open the Spirit Gates to the graveyard. But ideally, that's kind of the setup that you need to go, just so that when you use Widow Anchor, you get the secondary effect when, if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can take control of a monster until the end phase. But now we're going to go into our Snake Eyes cards, having Ash bring out Poplar, and then going into, I've completely blanked on the name, our Flamebird, linking Flamebird and our Unchained card off to bring out Solar Rage. Flamebird is then going to use its graveyard effect to bring back out Ash and Poplar, so then we link 4 into the final piece of our combo, our 3200 Appaloosa. Poplar's going to set one of our Unchained cards onto the spell and trap zone, and then we're going to place Ghastly Gales, which is something that isn't in the deck anymore. Not Ghastly Gales, Ghastly Glitch. Just because I wanted a bit more room to make the deck more consistent. The reason why I put the Unchained cards in here instead of any of the Snake Eye cards is because if they have something like Harpy's Feather Duster, it counts as them being destroyed, which actually activates their secondary effect, where if this card is on the field is destroyed by card effect, you can special summon one Unchained monster from your hand or deck. So it's just a way to play around cards like Harpy's Feather Duster. But into that, it's finally into our opponent's turn. As they go into Kashtira Spurf and immediately special summon a monster, which I'm going to use to link away with Unchained Solar Rage to go into SP Little Knight. Little Knight will then banish their spell card. And then what I would normally try to do here is have Little Knight use its effect to banish itself plus the opponent's monster, so then my main monster row is cleared, meaning that I can then use Widow Anchor as no monsters can be in the main monster zone. But our opponent's going to find another way of activating that effect, as they play Kashtira Ogre and destroy my Little Knight. But before they can then activate its secondary effect, I am going to use Widow Anchor to not only negate it, but take control of it. And then I guess this is enough just to make the opponent surrender. And that is the first duel. Let's move on to the second. Whoa! That was the weirdest transition noise I've ever made, but hey, on to duel number 2. This one we won't be utilizing Curious for this combo, and we are up against, I believe, a Photon deck? So because we actually drew one of our Unchained Trap cards, we won't need to add Shavara to our hand and then send it to the graveyard. Instead, we can add Shyama, I believe it's called, to the hand instead, and use Spirit Gate's discard effect to send that to the graveyard. Meaning that we can skip Curious entirely. But same as before, Dark Beckoning Beast to bring out Chaos Beckoning Beast, link those off into Yama. A slight change now though. Let's bring Shyama to the hand and then immediately discard it, as we already have the trap card set for it. And because we don't need to go into Dominion, we don't need to bring out Link Karibo either. But we can still banish Chaos Summoning Beast to bring out Fallen Paradise so that we can summon the Bellstar. The Bellstar setting Sinful Spoils again. Link 2ing into our Sky Striker cards to send Anchor to the graveyard and then immediately add it back to our hand. Then Sinful Spoils to send away Spirit Gate. And let me just double check. 1, 2, 3 spell cards. Perfect. Ash brings out Poplar. And then we can just start linking away. Getting Soul of Rage and then having just enough cards on the field to once again go into a 3200 Appaloosa. And then finally setting Widow Anchor. Well, actually, using Poplar's effect, then setting Widow Anchors and then passing. So one thing that I do with this deck that probably isn't ideal is that I kind of tend to immediately kind of gun all the effects I can, which is definitely not ideal. I need to kind of learn to hold myself back, but I mean, you know, I spent all that time putting all those pieces together, I want to see them go off. So we once again end up in a situation where we can summon Little Knight. I remove their trap card, well, their face down card, because I'm afraid of what it could be. Once again, Little Knight doesn't really see past one battle phase as it's destroyed. I proc Yama's effect to bring back our Soul of Rage. After drawing our super specially shiny Wanted, we bring out Diabellstar. Well, we don't bring out Diabellstar, we bring out another Dark Beckoning Beast to open the Spirit Gates, to then bring out our third and final copy, which isn't allowed anymore. But we will link those plus our Unchained Soul of Rage to bring out Unchained Abomination, banish Wanted to draw another card, and then get rid of our Unchained Continuous Spell monster to bring back out Diabellstar, because you might be wondering what exactly the plan is here. Well, I'm not trying to do anything crazy, I'm just trying to get enough damage on the board. What you see, because we have this card in hand, as you'll see in a second, we put their monster into the spell and trap zone, and we have just enough damage to take them down to 0 life points, which they realize very quickly and surrender. But yeah, that was duel number 2. On to our third and final duel. Let's go! Now onto our third and final duel, which is post-ban list against a Cyber Dragon deck. We are going second, and we will be facing an Imperm on turn 1. However, I think we did have a little bit of luck on our hand in that their initial hand, as you're going to see, is not going to be too eventful for them. You're going to see that we have drawn the Poplar, so that is useless to us. For people that don't know, Poplar's effect is that if it is added from hand to deck by any means other than drawing it, you can special summon it to the field. However, because we have started it with it in our hand, that effect is basically useless, so we're not going to get use out of it in that sense, but we will find a different way to use the card. But we'll also show off how Snake Eye Birch can actually do pretty well in this deck. But yeah, moving on to the duel. As we have an Unchained Trap card in hand, you'll see that we can kind of take the combo in a different route. So they summon one monster, set 2, and pass. We are then going to draw our Bestial monster. Play opening the Spirit Gates, as I'm trying to go through the combo normally. I did see that they had a priority shifted to their side at one point. So I kind of figured that they did have Imperm set on the field. However, because I have both my Bestial monster plus my Diabellstar, we are going to be able to go basically a few different directions with this combo. So I'm going to special summon them onto the field. Dark Beckoning Beast's effect is going to get negated, but we're going to bring out Diabellstar by sending our Poplar to the graveyard, which is probably the better effect I could have done here, because now they can set themselves into the spell and trap zone. We can set Sinful Spoils, link free these three into Curious. And because we have the trap card already set, we won't need to send Shavara. Instead, we can send Shy Armor to the graveyard. Plus, you know, 3 extra cards, but it happens. Destroy that trap card to bring them onto the field. Bring our other Unchained. And then use Sinful Spoils to send Poplar to the graveyard instead of opening the Spirit Gates. And now in this way, we've kind of filled up the field, giving us enough material to link cards away. However, I'm going to oppose into going on the Sky Striker route, even though I actually did have enough spell cards that it could have worked. Okay, I believe at the time I was doing the duel, I thought I had one too many spell cards in the graveyard. Ah, that might have been it. I might have realized that I should have gone into spell. Yeah, that was it. Okay. If I had done the Sky Striker route before that, I could have made it work. But then I think I realized by sending Ash and Spirit Gates to the graveyard that I couldn't do it, because Kamela's effect only works when you have 3 or less spell cards in the grave. Yeah. So we do have to take the route in a slightly different direction, but that's not the only misplay I'm going to make doing this combo, as I accidentally use Dominion and Shivara to create a much weaker Apollosa. I meant to use all 4, but I accidentally clicked yes when it asked if I wanted to use free material on Curious. So at this point, I'm just like, well, I don't know what to do with Birch, so I will just Link Karibo you, and we'll then set Shivara into Spell and Trap Zone, and you know what, we'll just do as much damage as we can before we pass. So yeah, definitely a different field of how I tend to use it, but it'll still get some pretty good use. So immediately they send their Cyberdark Claw to the graveyard to try and add a spell or trap to the hand. I'm going to negate that because they've just sent a card to the graveyard. So they've just lost 1 card and gained nothing for it. I'm going to bring out Cyberdark Horn. Attach it to their monster. And then I'm going to send away Link Karibo so that they essentially can't do anything during the battle phase. I'm going to bring out Chaos Beckoning Beast, or Summoning Beast, to finally bring out Yama. Shivara's ability is going to proc, allowing me to set another trap card to the field. And then I'm going to destroy said trap card, special summon one of my Unchained Twins. Allow me to summon my other Unchained Soul, but then going to link 5 into our Underworld Goddess. And at this point, yeah, I had enough on the field that I could have just gone face, but it was... the dailies had just reset, and I was really trying to make sure that I had as many of them ticked off as humanly possible. But after all that, we go face with Flamberge and win the duel. But yeah, that's all 3 duels out the way. We're now going to transition into what the current deck looks like. So let's move on to that, shall we? And so I hope everyone enjoyed those 3 duels. This is the current version of the deck that is allowed in standard play. A few things to explain why I made the change that I did. So first off, Ibli being made forbidden. Big sad. It wasn't even used for my main combo. I only used it to get one of the Code Talker cards out. This one. Transcode Talker out onto the field, and I would place it below Apollosa just so it couldn't be hit by card effects. And then Ibli would be placed on the opponent's side of the field, floodgating them, and that's the whole reason why the card got banned in the first place. Kind of sad, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. To replace the second Poplar, and as you saw in the third duel, we just used Snake Eye Birch. And then the other kind of slots that I need replacing, I just got Crossout Detonator and an additional Call to the Grave just to help deal with the opponent trying to either use Maxi or Ash Blossom. But yeah, this is the current deck. One thing that I failed to mention at the start of the video is that, of course, for Curious to work, you need 3 cards of a certain type to be played. And so, standard-wise, I try to aim for a Fiend. Usually it's Yama. And then with either any of the Snake Eye cards or Chaos Summoning Beast, I go into Link Karibo for a Cyburst. And then normally it's either the Abelstar as a Spellcaster or my Bestial as a Dark Dragon. But yeah, a very fun deck to play indeed. I still play this just as my kind of standard deck because, you know, it was my little creation and I'm very happy with it. But yeah, let me know what you think of it below, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the duels, and I hope you also enjoyed the show. Until next time, everybody, goodbye!